That's law enforcement outside faking arrest or faking another car accident. They like to stage fake arrests and fake car accidents in front of my home. So that's them again because I sent the governor of Colorado, the governor of Michigan, an email regarding their conduct. So they decided to come in front of my home again. Well, they parked in front of my home and Leah's home. They're in front of my home with a tow truck and the car and the police officers with the lights. And then they have they're over there faking another. So y'all can pull up the police report. Y'all see everything's fake. The game stalker, the person that's in front of my home, that's all fake. They like to do this. This is all coordinated. So they pretend that they're going to tow their vehicle. They pretend they're going to write them a ticket. Things like that. This is all being coordinated at the United States Government Justice Department, the FBI, GBI, Governor Kemp, because I already told you guys he had um, his wife and GBI emailing me to intimidate me in regards to reporting their gang stalking in the state of Georgia, interstate between Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, Michigan, Illinois, and Colorado. So this is what they're doing. So apparently, in response to my email, they decided to increase their harassment because they've already assaulted me with directed energy weapons. That's what they've been doing all day and all night long. I just got out of the shower, and as I was putting on my clothes, they pulled this thing up outside, and they have the neighbors assaulting me with directed energy weapons. So this is what the United States government was doing before. Actually, they were doing this before Trump was in office, and they were doing this when he was in office the first time. So I've been dealing with this nonsense for 8 years already. Everybody's fully aware of it. Colorado U.S. District Court, they're aware of it. They haven't ruled on many of my motions. They haven't been assigned to a magistrate. So the United States government, GBI, FBI, and everybody can do this nonsense outside my home. So normally they do swatting. So since they couldn't think of something to swat and have Leah Patrice Jones Bennett, Dr. Jamil Angela Bennett's fake wife in Bahamas, since they couldn't have her SWAT or Catherine Ray Costello do another SWAT, they decided to bring the nonsense back to my house again like they did a couple of days ago. Now, police presence represents death and tragedy. The court is aware of that. They're harassing me with this because one of the cuckoos got a book and he's going off the checklist. And so all this nonsense is in a book, which law enforcement, United States government, everybody's aware of. I know, they know I know, so they continue to double down on their nonsense. So I just want you guys to see it for yourself. I'll let them continue doing that. I'm gonna go back upstairs, but I will cut this to tape and send it to YouTube in a couple of minutes. And this is what the United States government, this is why they can't help black people. They should be scared about it. This is why they don't have no dollars to help anybody out in the state of Georgia or any state. Because they rather use the money to sit here and gang stop people for employment cases. Now, this is national security, the National Security Center that they're using to gang stop people. So they had Carol Connell on the case. She now works for, they put her on the Menopause Foundation. They like to give everybody foundation jobs after they have them targeting and terrorizing black people. So they gave her a foundation job over there talking about she did all this nonsense. And she didn't. She didn't do anything. The United States government gave her positions for a year at various companies that defendant's counsel was legal counsel for. because she helped them commit obstruction. So they were hiding her from the EEOC, training her at G. The EEOC pretended they couldn't find her, but everybody's been coordinating with each other, so they knew exactly where she was. They relocated her to here, Georgia, and then they took her deposition here in Georgia, and then they relocated her from Georgia to Maryland to DC, Virginia, and then to Maryland, where Merrick Garland is from. Now, they've been harassing me with this Maryland nonsense because, like I said, everything that they're doing to harass me is in a book. So, Maryland, Chicago, uh, it's just a lot. There's a lot of information. They know that I know this. So they continue to do this nonsense. Now, the last thing they want me to do is take this book and submit it to the court of them gang stalking me and showing the list on what they're picking from to harass me. That's the last thing that they want to do. But they continue to double down on their nonsense outside my home, as you can see. They continue to harass me. They continue with this death and tragedy theme that the United States government continues to tell them to do. So that's why they're outside my home with this nonsense that I continue to report to the court that they're aware of. Everybody's been aware of this has been going on. Judge Mathis has been aware of this. Judge Brimmer has been aware of this. He was aware of this before Schaefer was on. Now, Schaefer died of brain cancer. I don't know if he actually died of brain cancer, if he was murdered because he was actually doing what he needed to do. And he probably was the senior judge, going to be the senior judge instead of, the other chief judge that they have. So, somebody had to get rid of him, so he died of brain cancer. And so since then, they've added 4 to 5 more magistrates on the case. And every time they add a magistrate, the magistrate is somehow connected or involved or knew about what they planned to do a long time ago. Now, they know that I'm talking to the cameras right now because they know I'm going to upload this on YouTube because they have CCTVs all over my home. So they were like, we better get away from in front of her home because she's about to make a long tape and upload it to YouTube, which she continues to do. So this is their intimidation scheme. It's been going on for over a decade. Everybody's been aware of it, including everybody that I email, everybody that I've been emailing. Like I said, I've been dealing with this nonsense from the United States government for over 8 years. Before they got Petty Officer NCIS Driscoll on the case, because they thought it was funny to get a petty officer because Nicki Minaj married a person by the name of Petty. And so my name, they like to joke about it and have people calling me Nicki. And so this is their little joke of harassing people. This is what the United States government does. So wonder why Senator Raphael Warnock, he's aware of it. Long story short, Raphael Warnock, Ossoff, they know. That's why they've all down for Cop City, because this creates the presence of death and tragedy, the presence of law enforcement. So them as Democrats co-sign on this nonsense and is over here engaging with other people to gang stalk me for no reason at all. Now, Sonny Perdue, he's the one in Georgia that's been in on this prior to his cousin or nephew or whoever Kemp is related to his family. Okay, they've all been aware of this. They've all known about this. Brian Kemp knew about this before, you guys wiped away all his fraudulent financial fines or whatever to make him governor or whatever and said, none of that's important. So this is what the United States government has been up to since 2009. They were doing this in Colorado. They brought it to Georgia. I was in Florida. They did the same nonsense, started gang stalking me in Pensacola and Orlando. They harassed me in Orlando at a theme park. I went to the same theme park in California. They harassed me there, had a couple trying to fight me at the park. So this is what the United States government does. They harass me. They follow me everywhere that I go. They have people jumping out, threatening to call police, call Discord because they think that my last name is Harris. Now, if my last name is Harris, that means that they illegally went around just testing people's blood against who my perceived father could be to say, okay, well, this is the person, and that's why we're going to terrorize her. Because my father passed away when I was in college. I like to think that he was murdered because things just didn't add up right. I got a call one day that he was sick in the hospital and I needed to get down there immediately. And, I was in college. I didn't have any money. And then the next day I got another phone call. He was dead. So you do the math on all of this nonsense. This is what I have been dealing with. And they refuse to leave me alone. I keep reporting it to the court. The court keeps overlooking the motions that I'm filing and instead is taking the motions that defense counsel is filing, the lies, the falsehoods that they continue to file, and they're acknowledging that and assigning those to magistrates. But my motion, they're not assigning those to magistrates. My last attorney who they removed from the case, because they keep removing my attorney from the case, okay? So they removed him from the case. Prior to him leaving, he knew this was going on, and he refused to report it to the court. The reason why he refused to report it to the court is because he was also involved in this nonsense. Okay, he was involved prior to taking my case. He said he was going to do a TRO, temporary restraining order. The whole time after he got money, he ignored me and dismissed it. And then when I was trying to tell him that, you need to file something, tell the court something, he basically told me, he goes, you know what? He goes, I'm no longer your attorney. I'm going to submit something to the court. So I decided to tell the court what was going on. The court said, okay, well, because what I sent, what was going on, they're going to remove him as counsel. I said, that's not what I said. I was saying that he said he was terminating the relationship, and I was explaining why. So then I asked for a reconsideration. They said no. Heather Teresa Carson person, she jumped on the docket, started yelling her nonsense full of lies that she's been doing, and the court continues to engage in her falsehood because all this nonsense is coordinated. All of it. Every last thing that I keep telling you. You can look at all the videos. You can see for it yourself. It's pretty obvious what's going on. There's not this much injustice in the world on one case, but apparently it's happening on this case, and they're pissed off because I'm sitting here looking at a book, looking at everything that they're doing. Literally everything that they're doing. And they know this, and they continue to double down on their BS. Continue. ABA Chair, Heather Teresa Carson Perkins, Legal Aid Governance Board. If you guys are submitting anything to any one of those agencies, don't expect that Heather Teresa Carson Perkins is telling them to help you, because she's not. Because she's over here lying to the court and harassing me nonstop 24/7. Talking about, oh, well, you didn't file this correctly because XYZ. You are literally breaking not only court rules and procedures, you're breaking the law. Federal law, civil law in several states. But because she has help from law enforcement, specifically DeKalb County, because DeKalb County is defendant's client. That's their municipality. That's one of their clients. So they have U.S. Marshals. They have a lot of municipalities as their clients. So if I go into one of those cities or states, they immediately send law enforcement to start gang stalking and harassing me. So I've been dealing with this nonsense since prior to 2009, okay? Just so everybody's aware. Now, you guys, some of you watching this video, you're not aware, but the gang stalkers, if they sign on to my YouTube page, even their stupid little comments, they know what's going on because they've been involved since 2009 as well. This nonsense of them having someone outside, fake law enforcement so they can do the police in front of my home. They literally had someone take out this light pole over here, had the Chamblee police come over here, write a fraudulent police report. One of the driver, he took off across the street in Camden Park apartment complex. He literally, I watched him because I called the cops because they hit the light pole. So I called the cops so emergency can come. So he took his ass, walked across the street, and his buddy jumped into the driver's seat. And then they sit here and did this little scheme or whatever. DeKalb County firefighters, they came, threw all kind of stuff in the front yard, left it there for days, had it piled up because this type of to cause like an accident scene for like death tragedy, now an accident. So this is the nonsense that I've been dealing with. One time I left the hospital. I was in a hospital. They had, and I got out. It was just a doctor's appointment. I got out. They told the person backed into my car at a light. So this nonsense of them staging police scenes and incidents, I'm used to it. So I want you guys to see for yourself what they continue to do, harassing people, causing cars. They had me driven off the road in Alabama. They had the cops pulling up on me in Alabama twice, back to back, high speed, and then got behind me, slowed down, sped off, and then a minute later, another police trooper did the same exact thing. That happened in Alabama. In South Carolina, they shot out the tire with a pellet, just like they did in front of my home over here. They keep harassing me. They'll let the air out of the tires. They'll harass me with the word tire. They had this dude over here that they did a fake raid with. They had him driving by my home with a Punisher sticker on his truck, a Punisher decal, because this nonsense, what they're doing is they call it punishment. So that's what they're doing with the death and tragedy and things like that. So just so you guys all know what's going on, everybody's up to speed, because I've been up to speed. I'm just telling you guys some of the information, what they're doing. Everybody knows they're doing it. The DOJ, Garland's been on in this, Comey, everybody before him has been in on this nonsense. It's 1:16 a.m. They left about what 1:05 a.m. So the number 15, they like to harass me with the number 15. They probably left at the time when the time added up to 19. You never really know. You'll see it on the clock because I wasn't looking at a clock in here. But when I go upstairs with the recording, you guys will see what time they left. They do this nonstop 24/7. Everybody's aware of it, like I said. Yeah,